Hey, what's up, Good Life? Thanks for joining me for today's 128 moment. Last Sunday in our Reclamation Project series, we looked at a man named Gideon, a nobody who was used by God to rescue his people. And he led 300 people to defeat an army of 120,000 using nothing but torches and trumpets. Now, after this unlikely man named Gideon was used by God to do unbelievable things, the people of Israel, they saw what Gideon had accomplished, and they're ready to hand the reins of the country right to him. The people come to Gideon and they say to him, "Man, you rule over us and let your son and your grandson also rule over us, for you're the one who saved us from the hands of Midian." But Gideon rightly said to him, I'm not going to rule over you. I'm not going to rule over you because the Lord is supposed to rule over you. So Gideon in that moment, he knew who the victor was, and he knew to the victor goes the glory. Gideon had no delusions that he was the one who had rescued Israel. 300 guys with trumpets and torches don't defeat an enormous army. Only God can do that. But would Gideon just shrink back into the shadows? Now, would Gideon just go back to his grumbling and his grunt work? Well, before he stepped back out of the limelight, Gideon asked for a small gift. He asked the people of Israel to give him some of the gold they had plundered from the Midianites, and the people were happy to comply. Well, right after giving God all the glory, Gideon also got rich. And it seems a little bit out of place in the story, but wait till you hear just how much gold Gideon actually got. The people gave Gideon 41 pounds of gold. Today, that would be worth more than $1 million. Seems like a lot, doesn't it? But wait until you hear what happened next. What would you do with 41 pounds of gold? Well, Gideon took some of the gold and he made an ephod out of it. Now, an ephod was a garment. Specifically, it was a garment that was worn by the high priest when he was doing his priestly duties, interceding between the people of God and God. And so Gideon makes this gold replica of this real high priestly garment. And while the ancient context is a little bit foreign to us and a little bit confusing, we do know exactly what that golden ephod caused. Because the very next verse says, all Israel whored after this ephod, meaning they gave all their worship to this new idol, the worship that God alone deserves. And then the text says something profound, that the idol became a snare, a trap for Gideon and for his family. So what was the root of this idolatry and this trap that wrecked Gideon's family? The root of it all was pride. Gideon was used by God, and it appears that in Gideon's golden years, he spent them focusing on himself. We talked last week about how God still uses unlikely people to do unbelievable things, just like he did with Gideon. God's still using ordinary people to do extraordinary things, but if we are not careful, our pride can get in the way of our purpose. Whether our part in God's story is big or small, God alone deserves all the glory. So is the glory of God the focus of your life? Is everything you do at your home, at your work, in our community, is it focused on God receiving the fame that he deserves? If not, you might be falling into the exact same mistake Gideon did, of using the spoils of God's victory in your life to make much of you and your story. Even worse, you may be setting a trap for your family to miss out on God's plan and purpose for their lives as well. So Good Life, my challenge to you this week is to keep God's glory as your ultimate goal. And if that happens, there will be no snares set for you or for your family. Hope that encourages you and challenges you. Hopefully you'll be able to join us this coming Sunday, 9:30 and 11 at the church as we continue our Reclamation Project series. Looking forward to sharing this new story with you. And until then, let's go be a people who will love enough